What's up, everybody? How you doing? I hope you're having a very great day, because I know I am. And looky what I got here. So from now on, or at least when I know I can, I'm going to wear the signature t-shirt for my channel while I'm making my videos, so that I can show you guys what I have. And if, like I said, if you want one, you know what to do. You go to the description below the video, get the information that you need. And if you want t-shirts, all you gotta do is put it on my PayPal. Put it on my PayPal account, and when I receive it, I will, email me your address, and I will send it to you. That's only if you want to. If you don't, it's cool. Like I said, the price is $20 per t-shirt. So with that being said, I will mention this again at the end of the video. Okay, today I got two stories from the book and information on these young African American girls at the age, which run between the ages of 10 to 14. There's even a young man along that group too. It was probably about the only young man in that group who was around the same age, about like anywhere between 14 and 17, who went missing, around the same amount of time. But I have a list of the names of these people. Now, when the story first broke and the pictures were put on social media, like Instagram, some of the information was blurred out for some reason. I don't know why, but it was. I don't know if that was just to protect their name until they're found or what. I'm not sure, but there is a list of these young women's names, and there's a bunch of photos as well. But it's crazy. I mean, like, you're talking about a total of, like, I'd say anywhere between 10 to 20 young women that went missing, within a 3-month span. And 24 hours later, another batch of women went missing. Okay, so you got, first I want to read off with most of the names. You got Jacqueline Lassie. Her age is she was 15 when she disappeared on March 10th, 2017, in northeast Washington D.C. You have Naya McNeil. She was 13 when she disappeared on March 8th of 2017 in northwest D.C. Deshawn Wallace, she was 15 on when she disappeared on March 8th of 2017 in southeast DC. My high school sweetheart actually lived in that area. So a lot of the areas that they're disappearing in is like in the hood or ghetto areas, I guess, or the not so rich areas of DC. You have Yeshaya Enoch. She was at the age of 13 when she disappeared on March 8th, 2017 in southeast DC. Talisha Coles was 16 when she disappeared on March 7th of 2017 in northeast DC. Morgan Richardson, she was 15 when she disappeared on March 6th. Diana White was 15 when she disappeared on March 3rd of 2017. Gladys Keat, spelled K-E-I-T-T, so I think that's Keat. She was 18 when she disappeared on March 2nd of 2017. Sayona Parker was 14 when she disappeared on February 24th of 2017. Shaquan Scott, I think that was that young man I told you about. He disappeared. He was 15 years old when he disappeared on February 16th of 2017. Heaven Shamti was 15 when she disappeared on February 2nd of 2017. Unique Lucas was 16 when she disappeared on February 1st of 2017. Chastity Smith was 16 when she disappeared on January 27th of 2017. Now, all these were within the northeast, southeast, and southwest areas of Washington, D.C. And like I said, the whole situation is just insurmountable. I mean, I cannot believe that so many young women are being taken within that short period of time. You know, it just boggles the mind, and no one seems to have an answer. There isn't too much that I could even say about the young women and this young man that was taken along with them, because there is no answers. I mean, it's just, you just find out that they were taken, and that's pretty much it after that. You know, so I be trying to see if I can get any other kind of information on that, but nobody is actually doing anything. Okay, now these are some of the photos of the missing. Okay, you got this one right here. Let's see. And these are the photos of these young women here. Like I said, you know, very young, very impressionable. And I'm thinking what is happening. These flyers are being passed out about a job they could have at their age, and they probably tell them to meet them at a certain building where they're actually taken, and at that point, that's it. You know, they're taken and they're never heard from again. Now, if we can get a lock on their position, or find out something like where maybe somebody might slip up and they will actually, let's get, see, that's the young man I was telling you about. His name is Keon Herder. So yeah, that's not the young man, but this is obviously the second young man that was taken. The other guy, yeah, that wasn't him, obviously. And I think, let me see, is this him? Oh, Navarus L. Johnson. He was, I'm trying to see his age. 14. He was 14 when he was taken. So yeah, so there's some young men being taken as well. It is, so I don't know if it's sex trafficking or if it's just like I've been saying before about the organ harvesting. However, in any case, that is the state of what's going on right now. There really isn't any more information on it yet. I will keep you guys posted, you know, when I find out more. But just keep those names in mind. And we have to band together on a lot of this stuff, you know, with not just the cases in the book and try to find out what's happening to these people, but to find out what's happening to our young children. You know, when the story broke about this, I was heartbroken because, you know, I have a daughter and I don't want nothing to happen to her. I don't want her to be taken because they want her organs, or because they want her to be a part of some sex trafficking syndicate. You know, I don't want her to have any type of dealings with that. I don't want her to be a part of that. So, you know, coming from a father, I know exactly how the other parents are feeling. Except my daughter's still here, and there's a missing, you know, and my heart goes out to all the parents, you know, what's going on with their children, and the fact that the police department isn't really doing anything to find the young children. And even if they are, they're not doing enough, you know, because a lot of them say they don't have enough manpower to even handle missing persons cases. But that shouldn't be the point. The point is somebody's child is missing. What if it ended up being your child? I bet you'd be out there every single day looking for your child, or for doing whatever it took. Even if you have to do what they do in the movies, and that's, you know, they say it's no holds barred. You do what you got to do to get the job done. Don't even try to obey the law, because the law isn't, you know, a factor in these cases when it comes to those movies, you know, about cops and how they have to go above and beyond just to get the job done. You know, I know they're not going to do that here, because this is reality, this is real life. So, you know, in any case, that's all I can really say at this point. You know, I can list the names and the year when they disappeared, and that's all within this year, 2017. So it's like some sort of like harvest, where they're just taking people at random, but at the same time they collecting them and piling them up, so there'd be a lot of them missing. So, but yeah, let's get down to the nitty gritty today. Today's personal story is going to be about Men in Black. Yes, that's right, Men in Black. I've had at least 2 experiences with them. And, wait, hold on. No, I've had 1 experience, I'm sorry. The other one was something else. It was kind of pretty much similar because it was dealing with a car. Now, this is like the weirdest thing. I'm driving out of my mom's old subdivision, and when I got to the edge of the subdivision, leading out to the main road, I looked to my left. For Pete's sake, I looked to my right. No cars coming. The minute I put my foot on the pedal, a black sedan drove past me, at a high rate of speed, and it was almost like time slowed down for me to get a chance to look at the person that was inside the car. And I've heard on Coast to Coast AM about women in black, where it's the same people, but it's a female, not a guy. And she was wearing, it was a black car, and the woman had on a black power suit, black sunglasses, and she had pale skin and black long hair. And it was no motion on her face at all. It was almost like she didn't even see me coming. Her mind was focused on driving forward. So it was like she came out of nowhere. And when I looked again after a few minutes, well, a few seconds actually, she just disappeared. And I've heard of that happening with a lot of these cases when people encounter the Men in Black. They seem to just vanish. Like Dan Aykroyd even said something about that one time, because he was delving in the whole UFO shtick, and he said there was this sedan parked outside of this hotel that he was at, and he said at one point he looked, and then when he looked again, they were gone. It was like there was nowhere for them to go, where they had to drive to get where they had to go, but they just disappeared. So it was almost like they were never even there. And as far as the woman that I saw, it was just the strangest thing. It's like I felt like there was no type of feeling towards the woman. It was nothing. You couldn't feel anything. It was just a blank slate. And she just had this blank look on her face. She didn't look at me. She just kept her eyes forward, and she was just driving, and then she just disappeared. So that was my very first encounter with women in black. But it was just the fact that she just appeared out of nowhere, and it just kept going. She didn't slow down. She didn't stop. She didn't do nothing. It was just weird. So that was my experience with the Men in Black. This is when I was living, like I said, when I was living in my mom's old house in Duluth. So I got more coming, as I always say in every single video, so you don't have to fret. Just stay tuned, and the next one will probably be just as crazy as this one. But today's story, I've got 2 of them for you. One story is about a young man named Bryan Barker. He went missing on 07/03/2009 at 1 a.m. in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He was 21 years old when he disappeared. Okay, now this is one of the rare cases from Milwaukee. While this city may not be on anyone's radar, it is on Lake Michigan, a location with many unusual disappearances associated with it. Bryan Barker was born July 23, 1987 in Appleton, Wisconsin, to Joseph and Marie Barker. He graduated from New London High School and enrolled at the University of Wisconsin at Milwaukee. He had a summer job in Appleton working for a cold storage company. He also had a part-time job during the school year installing security systems. Between schoolwork and jobs, Bryan liked to work out. He enjoyed lifting weights and boasted a 380-pound bench press. Bryan took his studies seriously as he was a business and finance major. On July 2nd, 2009, Bryan and friends went to Sullivan's Bar at 1223 North Water Street in Milwaukee to celebrate a friend's birthday. The group stayed out until 1 a.m. when Bryan told his friends he needed to get home. He stated that he'd walk, which is something that happens with almost every, well, I'm gonna say almost, but with every single person that turns up missing after leaving a bar. They always, for some reason, want to walk home. Now, I don't know how far they were from the bar, but still, if you can drive or get a ride back to your house or apartment or dorm, I'm doing it. I'm not gonna walk, especially at night. And at that time in the morning, you never know what's gonna happen. So, but that happens with every single college kid that comes from a bar. They walk home every time. They never wait for someone to drive them home. Okay. Okay. There are some conflicting stories about why he left the bar. Later in the day, on July 3rd, Bryan's longtime girlfriend couldn't reach him by phone and got worried. He was subsequently reported as a missing person. The police did respond to the issue immediately. Milwaukee police scoured the downtown area where the student was last seen and interviewed various business owners. They could not locate anyone who knew where Bryan might have gone. There was little activity on the case for 2 days. Okay. On July 6, 2019, a body was found in the Milwaukee River. Details about the body were published in the July 7th edition of the Green Bay Press-Gazette. Police confirmed today that a body pulled from the Milwaukee River on Monday was a New London man reported missing on Saturday. Bryan Barker, a 2004 graduate of New London High School and a student at University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, was last seen about 1 a.m. Saturday as he left a bar on Water Street in Milwaukee. The coroner determined that Bryan died from freshwater drowning. Here we go with that again. He claimed it to be an accident. There were no other injuries injuries to the body. Details on this case were very slim. Yeah, that's crazy because it was a short and sweet story about him. Your basic college kid. He did a lot. When it came to school, and he played sports. But at the same time, out of all that, well, not so much play sports, but he had a job and he did his schoolwork, and he was very adamant about that. But the fact that he just left the bar to walk home instead of him waiting for a ride, which I'm pretty sure his friends would have done, if they were really good friends, but that didn't happen, because even David Paulides said that if you're going to go somewhere out in the wilderness, make sure you tell a reliable friend that will check up on you, like say every hour. And of course, you tell them, if something happens, if I don't come back, then you know what to do. Call 911, tell my parents, or whatever the case may be. But in this case, not one person that these people are walking away from offers to give them a ride home. So I guess they figure he's a grown man, he can walk home, and he ain't no kid. That's how college kids or teenagers think. So, but yeah, with this story here and how he was this exceptional student. He worked, or he had 2 jobs, plus he did his homework. So he was a very, very good student, and he was a very good guy apparently. But in a lot of these cases, obviously, they're trying to let us know that nobody is safe. I don't care how good of a student you are, how good of a person you are, you're going to be taken by us. And the big question of all is, who is us? Who are these people? Who are these beings? Why are they here? Why are they taking our people, our family members, our children, and not bringing them back? And if they do bring them back, they bring them back dead without a cause of death on the body, to where we can't even figure out what happened. Not even an autopsy will be able to help. It's crazy, man. I just can't understand that. But yeah, very crazy story. Very crazy. Now, the next story It's going to be about Mark Wegener. He went missing on 05/28/2011 at 1:42 a.m. in Whitewater, Wisconsin. He was 20 years old when he disappeared. In the past books, I have explained that different geographical areas have different circumstances leading to someone's death. Mark Wegener and Benjamin Futter represent two deaths you won't read about in any literature related to college men drowning. If you've read my past books, you will immediately understand why they are here. Okay. I have written about unusual deaths from falls. I've always stated that when I am alone and hiking in the woods, I am much more cautious than when I'm with a group of friends. Mark and Ben disappeared and were found in a quarry. Another location that seems to be part of the unusual death scenario. Once you read the facts surrounding these incidents, you'll understand why I include them. In May 2011, Mark Wegener was a junior at the University of Wisconsin at Whitewater. He was a solid honor roll student and a good kid. On May 28, 2011, Mark had gone to a party on the Boone Court in Whitewater. See, there you go. There's another party. As usual, but that's just the way all these cases either start or end up. Okay. He was a smart and responsible person and didn't drive to the house, which is a big surprise because none of them ever do. Okay, he lived a little more than 2 blocks away. At just after 1 a.m., Mark left the party alone and walked to his home, which was 1 block north of Prairie Street. He never made it back. Later in the day, on May 28th, friends and family reported him as a missing person. Police checked his cell phone records and found that he made it to within 1 block of his residence. So he was halfway there. So they say he lived about 2 blocks away. There was some conflict on his information. News sources reported that he was within 1 block of home based on a police statement, but a detective later stated it wasn't true. The towers couldn't be that precise. A little reflection at this point is important. Whitewater is not that big of a town. Mark was a brilliant student and had lived in the community for 3 years. He knew his way around the neighborhood. The police searched utilizing just about every resource imaginable. They knew that after he left the party, he would be making his way northeast toward his home. They searched all of the adjoining streets and yards and found nothing. On May 30th, 2011, at 8 a.m., owners of the quarry outside the southern city limits of Whitewater reported for work and made a grisly discovery. Mark was found at the bottom of their quarry dead. Mark was confirmed to be walking in the northeast direction away from the quarry, and then is found in the opposite direction outside the city limit. The city limits. He would have had to walk down a lonely, dark street with no homes for over a mile to reach the quarry. It would have been unmistakable that he was going the wrong direction. The body was sent to the coroner. Mark was found to have died from multiple fractures. His blood alcohol level was 0.10%. The alcohol level confirms that he was in a drunken stupor. Then, there was never any mention of what he was, what he was or wasn't wearing on, or the type of fractures that occurred. This is one of those cases. This is one of those cases that turned the corner on this disappearance, on these disappearances. Besides the key cases, I will never believe that Mark got turned around 180 degrees, walked out of the residential neighborhood lined with homes, down a lonely, dark rural road, found the only cliff in miles, and jumped off. No way. There may not be many of these unusual fall and die cases featured in the book, but there are a lot in my other books. Let's see. My son is in college graduate, and let's see. My son is a college graduate and headed towards graduate school. He read about these instances and told me months ago that it reminded him of a claw machine in arcades. The claw goes up over top of its target, drops and grabs it, takes it to another location and dumps it. Yeah, that seems like a pretty good assumption when it comes to that, because it's like somebody is being picked up off the ground to where they won't leave a scent or footprints. They are carried to another location and then dropped. They dropped them without killing them in a way where we could detect what caused the killing. But that never seems to happen as far as what we can find when it comes to these people mysteriously being found dead for no apparent reason. It just makes no sense whatsoever. Are their life forces being sucked out of their body? Are they a victim of soul extraction, where they remove the soul from your body, place it in some kind of a canister? And of course, like I said before, it is said that your soul is basically a quantum fluid. It has these little nitty like strings that makes it all come together. But that's what I heard. So, but that's on the scientific terms. Anyway, I think I'm gonna read one more story. I want to try and get this in as an hour video. I'm trying to make it as long as possible. Okay, this story is about Rick Gonzales. He went missing on 08/31/2011. I never could really figure out how to pronounce this name. Is EAU, so I guess that's Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Okay. This is okay. Oh, I'm sorry. He was 22 years old when he disappeared. This is another case in a long line of victims who were not only intellectual but also athletically inclined. Ricky Gonzales was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and later moved and graduated from Bluffton High School in Bluffton, South Carolina, just west of Hilton Head. A friend of mine always wanted to go there, but she never did get there. And if she did, she didn't go there with me. Okay. He enjoyed wrestling in high school and continued that passion in college. In August of 2011, Ricky was a junior student studying history at the University of Wisconsin in Eau Claire. Oh, excuse me. Oh boy. Okay. His coaches and teammates stated that he rarely said anything in the locker room, but allowed his performance on the mat to speak for itself. He was very passionate. That passion made it an easy choice for coaches to make him captain of the Eau Claire varsity wrestling team. On the night of August 31st, 2011, singer wrestler Matt Riekhoff dropped off a group of wrestlers at an ATM on Water Street to obtain cash for a night of drinking and socializing. One of those wrestlers was Ricky. The group then continued on to the bars along Water Street, and it is unclear how Ricky got separated from his friends and disappeared. He was reported as a missing person the following morning. Eau Claire police and University police searched the downtown and campus area for the student and found nothing. A September 3rd article on the WQOW website had the following details. The body was spotted by some tubers Friday afternoon, about 200 yards west of the UW Eau Claire footbridge on the Chippewa River. The tubers called 911. Eau Claire police and EMS crews pulled the body from the river at the Hobbs boat landing. Police say the young man was 22 years old, has been identified. Ricky has been found. Okay, the body was turned over to the coroner. The toxicology report indicated that Ricky's blood alcohol level was 0.19%, very high. There was no trauma to the body, and the determination was that he died from freshwater drowning. Is that word again? Okay, it's important to remember that these cases are happening in a few specified cities, and it is not occurring in every city with a river and college campus. Let's see, why are these young men being found dead in these specific locations? That is a mystery in of itself, because I would want to figure out the same thing. I mean, all these college kids and bodies of water seem to be the main focal point of all of these deaths. When people are being found dead for no apparent reason. Why are they taking the intelligent? Why are they taking college kids from their dorms and whatever the case may be and placing them in the water after they kill them? Furthermore, how are they killing them? Okay, are they using some means of killing someone without using their hands? And it goes back to that capsule that I mentioned in my last video about those Portugal men who said that they have to take a capsule, and their bodies look like they were rotted out, but the outside layer, the skin, looked fresh, like as if it was never punctured or traumatized. Very weird case, my friends. Very weird case. Okay, let me see if I can get. I want to try and get as many of these stories in to make the channel make the video even longer. Okay, this one is about Eric Duffey. He went missing on 03/3/2012 at 1:15 a.m. in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. He was 21 years old when he disappeared. This is the first student I've written about who was a natural resources and wildlife ecology major. Eric Duffey loved the outdoors. He hailed from Fitchburg, Wisconsin, and graduated from Verona High School in 2009, where he was a member of the school's golf team. That's the first I never. I think my school had a golf team when I was in Virginia. I think. I'm not sure, because I never went out for it because I hated golf. Still do, really, because I'm not saying I don't see the point, but that's just not my thing. That's just not my thing. I'm more of a martial arts type of guy. I took up Taekwondo, Shaolin Kung Fu, and I am going to take up Wing Chun. I just got to get me a Wing Chun dummy, and I can't wait until I'm able to do that. It's gonna have so much fun. I'm gonna be quick. I'm gonna be agile. It's gonna be great. Love it. Anyway, okay. Let me see. Where was I at? Oh, yeah, here we go. During the summer months, Eric had a job working at Ace Hardware. Heard of that place? Ace is the place for the helpful hardware store. Anyway, okay. He was very excited because the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Department had recently hired him as a field technician. Excuse me. On March 2nd, 2012, Eric went with friends to downtown Stevens Point to celebrate his 21st birthday. The group, by all accounts, had a great time, and Eric drank a lot of alcohol. The final stop for the group was Joe's Bar at 831 Main Street. The bar sits approximately 250 feet from the Wisconsin River. At approximately 1:15 a.m., Eric told his friends that he was going to walk home and left. See, every single time they're walking home without waiting for a ride. Why? I mean, even if your establishment is close by, still, I wouldn't want to walk anywhere at 1 something in the morning. That's just ridiculous. But you know, you got your daredevils, you got your people who say, well, ain't nothing gonna happen to me, so they just go head on and poof, something happens to them. It's just like one of those stories about when you look at those horror movies and the young girl is running in the woods, she can't find the person she's looking for, and she trips. So it's very common, very common. You know, that's another good analogy right there. But anyway, what was I? Did I read that part? No, I did not. Get back on track here. Okay, almost there. Might be a little too far. Oh, here we go. Eric told his friends that he was going to walk home and left. This was the last time anyone saw him alive. When his friends and family couldn't locate the student, he was reported as a missing person. The search started immediately. Sunday morning, almost 150 volunteers and professionals turned out to scour the downtown area. The local emergency services put several divers in the river in an attempt to locate a body. The Civil Air Patrol had planes in the air, and the police had canines and searchers on the ground. Police had Eric's cell phone pinged. The only information the ping revealed was that he was in downtown Stevens Point the night before. The towers in the area couldn't be more precise on his location. The second day that Eric was missing, searchers still had divers in the water. On March 5th, a diver made a gruesome find, as is explained in this March 5 article by the Associated Press. A body recovered by emergency personnel searching a river was identified today as a missing Wisconsin college student who had been out celebrating his 21st birthday over the weekend. Authorities said that student was Eric Duffey. The body was transferred to the coroner, where he determined that Eric died from accidental drowning. Here we go. Just because he drank a lot don't mean that he just fell in the water. You know, I mean, it could mean that when he could have tripped over his feet or his shoelaces, he could have hit a hard spot in the grass or on the ground or whatever, and he probably tripped and fell on his face. But fell in the water? I don't know. Okay. Let me see. Okay, that student was. Okay, the body was transferred to the coroner, where he determined that Eric died from accidental drowning. He revealed that he had a blood alcohol level of 0.18%. There was some confusing, unusual information that came from the police about Eric's disappearance. In an updated article from the University of Wisconsin at Stevens Point students newspaper, the Pointer, was this. Sergeant Wheeler told the Associated Press that a male had come forward, claiming that he heard calls for help coming from the river at 1:30 a.m. Saturday morning, but failed to find anyone when he checked. There, there was also some indication that the police believed that Eric walked into the river. I could never understand who said that or what the justification was for making the statement. This isn't the first time that I've heard about someone hearing a yell for help, but not seeing the person calling out. A reporter was at a national park, in Colorado, covering the story of a disappearance and wanted to interview a park official. The official was busy, so the reporter took a walk. As she was walking, she heard calls for help. She looked through the area and didn't see anyone. She went back to interview the official and told him what she heard, and he took a long pause. The reporter was told that the victim they were searching for, had disappeared in that exact area. Searchers were in that area the day before and had also heard the same cries for help. They exhausted the area in a massive search and never found the victim. I wrote about this incident in Missing 411, the devil's in the detail. Yeah, that's really crazy, because if you're hearing a person call out for help but you can't find them, that means that they're probably on the other side of that dimension. But somehow there's still a way to get back, but at that point he couldn't, so all you could really hear was his voice, but you could not see him. It's amazing how they can manipulate that type of field or energy to where the only thing that's going to get through this wall that blocks you from this other world is a person's voice. And that same thing happened to a cowboy who owned a farm in a big old field, where his wife and 2 children were sitting on the porch, and they watched him as he walked across the way and into this field. Now, at the same time, the mayor and this man's brother-in-law, his wife's sister, were coming up the road on a stagecoach, and they saw him as he walked into the field too. And right at that second, the wife, the children, and the 2 men on that stagecoach was looking right at him and watched him as he vanished from sight, literally. Now, they scoured the area. They could not find him because they saw what happened. They saw him literally disappear from sight, just like that. So they sent people out there. They looking around. They're looking at the ground to see if maybe he fell in a hole or something like that. But if you don't see his body drop, obviously he didn't fall in a hole. You saw his body dissipate, from eyesight, from sight, and he just vanished. Okay. Now, the funny thing about that is, his 2 children was playing in that area, and they were playing near the area where their father disappeared. That one area is it's like absent of grass growing in that area. Bugs won't go in that area. Animals won't go in that area. It's like that area is like just contaminated, and nobody could get around it. It's almost like some type of energy field that keeps anyone out of that one little spot. Okay, now here's the even more crazy part. When the kids were playing in that area, they overheard their father calling out for help. He was like, "Please, someone help me, help me, help me!" And it went on for a couple of days until after a while, his voice started to diminish and would dissipate, like as if it was being moved away, like he was moving away off in the distance. And they never heard from him again at that point. So he walked into oblivion, literally disappeared from sight, and was never found again. Okay, so what can you say about that? Can you deduce or deduct what happened to this man? And even though all I'm telling you is a story, and I can't remember the name of the story, I just know that I heard it and I read the story as well, and that was the account given to the newspaper by the family and the brother-in-law and the mayor himself, because they all saw this man just vanish from sight in the middle of a field. Okay, he never returned. So Yeah, very weird stuff. Very weird stuff. Now, once again, I wanted to talk about these young women that are being taken in Washington, D.C. We got to do something, folks. We got to band together. We got to find out as much information as we possibly can, collect it. You can send it to me. I will post it on my channel. That way, the information gets out there in all directions. Okay? I'll even post what I can if you get something for me, and I will, put it on social media, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. Now, I will also do my part as well and try to find out as much as I can, because I was able to get the names, and that's thanks to KimStar66. So she helped me out a lot. So if we can just pull ourselves together and become like one big team and try to figure out what's going on here, we can probably help solve this case. I've heard of stories of parents becoming detectives all on their own just to search for their child, and they made a show about it where these parents just did what the cops couldn't seem to do, and I think that might be what's happening right now with all these young women being taken, for no apparent reason known to us. But in any case, we got to do something about this, folks, because there's too many young children. I don't care if you're black, white, Puerto Rican, Haitian, it doesn't matter. If you disappear, you disappear, and that puts a weight on my heart. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna treat the situation the same way I would treat the same type of disappearance if it was a young white boy or a little white girl that disappeared. It doesn't matter. A child is a child. Okay, and these are young, impressionable 14-year-olds. And I'm thinking, like I said earlier, that it could be because they're being handed a flyer talking about a job where they get paid a certain amount of money, and they lure them to a certain spot where it looks like maybe it's a building, like an abandoned building or a warehouse, and then that's how they're taken. Are they being held at these places? Maybe. I don't know. That's anybody's guess. Now, also, when it comes to young children vanishing, you gotta watch out for your environment around you. If you see a suspicious white van with painted windows, you want to make sure you keep your eyes on your kids, because that's like what you would call a haul van, like where they put like ladders in the back and they just be hauling stuff away. So you gotta watch out for that kind of stuff. But anyway, that's all I got today. I will, of course, keep you guys posted on these situations with these young women and organ trafficking if I can find out anything else on these cases. And once again, I just want to thank all my viewers for subscribing to my channel and telling your friends about me. And like I said, there's a t-shirt in it for you if you don't mind paying $20. You send it to my PayPal account, use my email address to send the money, and once I receive it, I will make sure that all you got to do is just email me your address in the comment section below. Well, no, I mean not in the comment section. Email me your address, to my email address, of course, and you can get the information that you need from the description, section below. But like I always say, tell your friends about me, who might, if they might be interested in what I'm talking about, they can come here. This could be their home where they can, open up their mind and just talk, come up with any kind of theories that you can come up with, but you too also know the deal. Hit me with those thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and become one of the people who has a very open mind in a lot of these cases. Because like I said, if you come up with a weird solution to the problem, you already figured it out, trust me. So I gotta go, guys. I got a lot of things I gotta do. I gotta get me some rest. My mom wants me to meet her around 2 o'clock, and it's like 1:42 right now, so I gotta get myself together. So always imparting, you know how I do it, guys. Aloha, mahalo, and hui ho. Peace out, guys. It's a very bright day outside. I hope it's bright where you are, and I hope you're having a very great day. Stay blessed, stay humble, stay open-minded, so we can figure this stuff out. And I will see you guys again on the next video. Peace.